Good morning. Welcome back. My name is Leslie. If you haven't been here before, you wandered across my little corner of the internet. First of all, to all my Canadian friends, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you got to spend some time with family. I hope that you did what I certainly did and overate on a big meal. We had turkey and all the trimmings and some pumpkin pie and I think I'm still full tonight. Last night's supper was just a little thing of leftovers, like a nice tiny one, and a Yorkshire pudding that my daughter makes every special meal. And then tonight's supper is going to be homemade tomato soup and a piece of toast because I am so full still, guys. Whew. What else did we do? We took nice long walks. The weather, it was a little iffy, but you know what? It wasn't raining, so it allowed for some outdoor activity. We went and visited with my son-in-law's mother, who unfortunately could not make it into our home, but she only lives a few minutes away, so we dropped in on her and took her some Thanksgiving goodies. So we have made bookmarks. We have made paper bookmarks using the laminator. And we have made acrylic vinyl bookmarks using our laminator. And there are certainly many ways to make bookmarks. This, to me, is a new to me way to make my bookmarks. But I thought it was great for kids too. You know, they're going to be home, on the odd days off. They're going to be home maybe not feeling so well, but they still want to do something. Christmas holidays are coming up faster than we ever expected. And so I thought I would give you a good way to make some quick bookmarks. I think I'm going to try it before I advise it, but I think you could also turn it into Christmas tags. And I think that they would make great sellers if you're at a flea market. So keep that in mind. I know here, I'm not sure about other places anymore, because of course I do not have young children in school. But in my granddaughter's school, they still have, just before Christmas, a little shop that they set up in the school, and the kids can go in and for a couple of dollars buy mom and dad or their siblings a Christmas gift. And I think that if you made a bunch of bookmarks and put them in there, that would make a great, like, 25-cent item to go with maybe a book that they bought or whatever, right? I have another idea for this, but I want to try it before I mention it. So look for that in an upcoming video. But what do we need? Well, we need ribbon. Because yes, we are going to make our bookmarks out of ribbon using a laminating machine. And if you're wondering, that is the ribbon I am using. Just a simple dollar store ribbon. I have a couple of different designs. I just kept one roll out. I used my fabric scissors to cut my ribbon. I'm just going to place them over here. I am using just normal buy it at Walmart Scotch brand laminating pouches. The best advice I can give you on the laminating pouches is to try to get the non-glare sheets of laminate so that they don't block out or change, like make your bookmark dull. Okay? And then we have the ribbon that I have picked. I'm going to bring you down to the table. So here is my ribbons. And while I'm showing you those, I'm going to turn on the laminator. I am just using a mink laminator. Turn on the heat and set it to 3. And there we go. We will just let her heat up. Okay. So I chose, of course, the roll that I showed you. And I dovetailed my end on that one. These are all 8 inches long. Then I chose Mary and Joy and Christmas. And I chose a poinsettia, holly wreath there. And some snowflakes. Like I said, Dollar Tree ribbon all the way. Now, to make it easy on myself, I have just lined up my pouch on my, on my glass top mat here. Oh, it really doesn't want to open. I love static. There we go. I would love it if I opened the right end. So what I did was I lined it up on my glass top mat. Okay, and I am putting them in this way so I can get as many as possible in here. And to keep it straight, I'm using the lines on my mat. That will help me to keep it straight and to also be sure that I have enough room for cutting, right? Because you're still going to want to trim these, but you aren't going to want to trim them so close that you cut their seal. So I just lay one there, and I fold it over a bit and hold with my finger. I lay the next one. I'm leaving just a couple of lines in between. You certainly don't have to do it this way if you're good at judging these things. Go right ahead and just judge. I am giving you the basics, and from there you do as you do. That is what this channel is about. That and trying to use up whatever scraps we have. So this one here is perfect for using up ribbon scraps, right? We're going to be able to use them up and to create beautiful items. And, of course, it prevents our laminator from sitting there just gathering dust. Let's use it if we can. I like to use my equipment. Speaking of using my equipment, guess what I was offered, guys? I was offered I'll call it a mini laser cutter. I've not decided whether to take it or not. I have a lot of machines already. The advantage to this one is the fact that it comes with an infrared cutting head, which could be very nice to have. But when I say mini, it's really mini. So as you can see, I am just going along, kind of lining everything up, double checking myself. I have one more to put in. I used a skinny ribbon for this one, so I know it will fit that, and I just liked it, and it kind of goes with the cover of the journal I'm using right now. So I will be using it for my journal. rather than for the books that I am reading. And trust me, I have 3 books on the go, 2 fantasies, and a mystery, a murder mystery. So bookmarks, I need lots of them. Okay, I don't think this one is quite straight. Okay, so I have my laminator here. You heard it beep. It's all warmed up. And I'm just going to take these bookmarks. Of course, there always has to be one, right? Always has to be one. So I'm going to take my bookmark and I'm going to start it on its way through the machine. Now, if you take it out and you notice that maybe it didn't quite seal, run it through again. Second pass through never hurt. So here we go. We're just running it through on the 3 mil, I believe it's called, 3 mil setting, and on the hot setting, not the cold. These are hot laminate sheets. I am holding it up because this last bookmark seems to want to slip and slide, and I do not want it to. So, holding it up is the easiest way to be sure it stays in place. Okay. I'm just double checking. Yeah. Oh, 1 second, guys. I just want to look at something. Oh, no. Okay. So here we go. I am going to put them through one more time because I think I see a spot right here where it didn't quite go through. And so what I'm going to do is do it this way this time and allow it just to go through this way. Excuse me, I want to steal a sip of my tea. Is everybody else into the warm drinks now? The pumpkin spice tea with pumpkin spice cream is so good. Okay, guys, they're just working their way through here, and yes, I definitely have a better seal in that spot now. So like I said, please do not be afraid to do second seal when you're doing this. And so a second trip through definitely does help, okay? Definitely gives them a nice seal. Now, this is warm. I'm going to set it aside here to do its thing and cool off. Oh, there we go. And so now what do we do? Well, now we have to cut it apart. If you've never used a laminator, which I know most people have, there is a little seal that runs right along the edge of these ribbons. Do not cut your seal, as you will end up unsealing the laminate and it will separate and open up and yada yada yada. You get the picture. So the way that I am choosing to do mine is to use my paper trimmer, and for the dovetails at the end to use the scissors. So that is the easiest for me. So what I am going to do, oops, come on back here, is just give these a quick trim up. And then we have one more step and we are done. And that is what I mean when I say that you should, whoops, I'm going to back it up just a little. That should be good. For anybody who's about to panic, who hasn't used this before, this side is not where the wheel is, this side is. So, like I say, nice and quick for the kids to do, simple. They'll need, of course, supervision with the laminator. They do get, of course, not very warm, and we don't want any, accidents while we're laminating. So here we go. We're just going to cut this one down. And I cut it a little bit closer, but that's okay. Because what I'll do is cut this one just a little bit closer also. Oops. It can be tricky when using this one to judge the laminate because it's clear, right? So my advice to you is to use a different kind, and I will show you in one moment which one I mean. Just give me 1 second, I'll switch out. Okay, so here we go. I have switched out my trimmer, which gives me a side here that allows me to see where the bookmark is in relations to how much I am leaving. Okay. Whoops. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Much easier when you can actually see how much that you are leaving. So there we go. Now we're going to trim this way. This one's a little bit more slippery, let me tell you. Okay, so here we go. Good. Think we got her there. No seals have been ruined in this process, which for me is the most important thing. When I'm doing this, if you're wondering how I'm judging my distance, I am lining up with the ribbon itself with the first line here and trimming. And that is helping me to line them up straight, while at the same time leaving enough to not break my seal. So there is the first one done. I will do this one on screen because it is dovetailed and I want you guys to be able to see how it turns out. I'm just going to line this one up the way I would to cut it. So these two here, I am lining this one here up like I would to cut the side of the bookmark. There we go. And that leaves me this one here to work with. So once again, line up the edges nice and straight and give her a trim. And same thing here. Same thing here. So we have completed all three sides. They've got a nice trim on them. And this one was a little crooked. So I'm going to realign. And there we go. Get that straightened out. Now for this one. I'm going to do the same thing as I did for the others and place the bottom of the dovetail there. and trim. And then I'm going to take my scissors and, using my best judgment, just trim inside the seal line. Remember, be very careful not to break your seal. Okay, I need to cut this one. Sometimes it's very hard to see. There we go. Seal not broken, dovetail cut. And that's what we want. So this is how it turns out when you have a dovetail. This is how it turns out when you do not. If you have one of the trimmers, which I've been looking for, that the board here can cut in waves and zigzags and all kind of patterns, then you will probably want to use it just to give your project a little bit of oomph, you know. You could use it just to add to the design of your project. This one here, I think I forgot to cut, so there we go. Yeah, there we go. Much better. There we go. Okay, so now, how am I finishing these off? Well, that's quite simple. I will move this aside and finish off these two on camera so you can see. I am using a hole punch. Now, this big boy is called a crocodile. You do not have to have a crocodile. I have one on hand, and I do like to use it. So I am just going to pull this so that it doesn't take it too far in or too far out. I'm going to double check where my hole is going to be because I certainly do not want it to be breaking my seal. And there we go. One hole. Now the next hole. Done the same way, like I said, you could use, I wanted to do this end. You could use a normal hole punch. Just be sure of your placement. There we go. And now, I bought a bunch of tassels, however you want to say it, and I use them with my bookmarks. So I would put a blue one here. I would try to put a blue one here. Apparently I can't aim for the hole worth a fiddle. There we go. Let it on. I put it through. Oops. I pull all the little pieces through. And then I go ahead and put it through a second time. I twist a couple of times and I put it through a second time, and that helps to keep it done up. You know how sometimes your tassel starts coming off because it didn't stay done up? I don't have that problem. I just have to have enough patience to get all the pieces through again. And there we go, one tassel held in place. Okay, so there's our first one. I think I'll raise you guys up a bit. I am not sure what's going on here, but I will raise you up a bit so you can see the top of the bookmark. There we go. Now the other bookmark here is the green and red. So I think for this one, I'm going to go with the dark green tassel. And I just keep my tassels in a little pouch here. And keep it zipped up so they're not everywhere around. Now, like I did before, straight through here. Nice and simple. You can always use tweezers if you have problems getting it through the hole. This one was much, much more agreeable. And then, like I said, nice little twist there. Once around. Hold it twisted. I know it's hard to see on camera. I'm sorry. And go back through so that it keeps itself done up. And it's that simple. And there we go. We have paperless laminated bookmarks. We've used up some ribbon scraps. I will do these two myself off camera, but I wanted you to have the basic steps and the basic idea. If you're using a wired ribbon, please remember to take the wire out of the ribbon, okay? Before you laminate or do any of that fancy stuff, take the wire out of the ribbon. You can, of course, also do this bookmark. I do have a video on it. And you could do paper bookmarks. What else can I tell you? They're all simple. They're all easy. They would all sell great at a flea market. Or if you're like me and you believe in giving a book to everybody, whether it be a comic book for a child or an adult book, tuck a ribbon inside, or a bookmark, sorry, and they will really appreciate the homemade thought. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you again in whatever comes next. Bye.